Okay. So we thank Hashem that we're able to learn every day. It's of our learning. The Mishnah goes like this. It throws us into like Bavmitzia and Kesubos. It says, Hatayin es chaveirei kadei shemen v'hoide b'kankane. Someone claims from his friend, you owe me jugs of oil. The jugs of oil that you have are mine. He responds, he says, not the oil, only the jugs. Only the containers, right? Containers, kankanim, containers. Now, we have a rule that whenever someone admits a partial admittance to a claim, he has to swear about the rest of it. It's called Meida b'mikdash. So here, he's partially admitting. Okay. The person claimed oil, and he's admitting to containers. That's not considered. There's actually two claims, possibly. One is, well, I'm mixing this up because it's going to, if there's two claims, then he's admitting to one of them. But what the Chachamim are saying is that they're claiming oil, and he's saying containers. It's nothing to the Amram Gamliel Rayanis Debri Admin. Gamliel says, I agree with Admin that this is a Meida b'mikdash. Okay, the Gemara says right away, Shema min al Rabbanan tanu chitim v'sa'irem v'hida b'sa'irem is pater. Question is like this. This is a Amaraic machlekes. There's a machlekes between Shmuel and Reb Chia bar Abba regarding tanu chitim usa'irem. If someone claims to another person, you owe me wheat and barley, and the person admits to barley. Did he partially admit, or are those two independent claims, and he agrees to one and is a kaifer hakol and denies the other one? Is he admitting to partial? How do you view it? Do you view it that he is admitting to part of it, or is he agreeing to all of it and denying all of it? Because they're two separate claims. There's two ways of looking at it. Whatever the case is, over here, look at what's happening. We have, he claims from him jugs of oil. The person says, I admit only to the containers. So, according to the Rabbanon, we see that he's exempt. That's what the rabbis argue with Admon. Admon says that it's considered one claim, and he's admitting to partial admittance. The rabbis say no, he's denying everything, and he's admitting to something else. So, this contradicts what Rav Nachman says in the name of Shmuel. Rav Nachman, if the person claims wheat and barley, that's considered a partial admittance. And if that's the case, then he should swear. Some say he doesn't have to swear by the oil in the jugs. You get the comparison? It's oil and jugs being compared to wheat and barley. When he's admitting to the barley, the rule was that was considered partial admittance according to Shmuel. But over here, we're seeing according to the Rabbanon, when he admits to the jugs, that's not considered a partial admittance.
Why does the Mishnah change the language from kadim to kankanim?
That's a very good question. That's yeah. That's a commentary question. I think what the answer is going to end up being is that a kankan doesn't tell me its size. What we're going to come out in the Gemara shortly. What we're going to come out is that kadei shemen may just mean a measurement. All right, that's where we're about to get. Oh, you have a note here. Very good. Maybe they asked this. They explain the term jug can mean a measure of volume or a vessel, whereas the term pitcher invariably refers to a receptacle. It never means a measure of volume. Very good. So the kankan doesn't tell me the size. Yeah, let me read it. Okay. I'm Rav Yehuda. We'll see in a second. I'm Rav Yehuda Marav. B'tayanu Maida. B'tayanu Mida. You have to read it as Mida. Pencil. B'tayanu Mida. What happened is, person. In our case, the person never said that you owe me the oil and the jugs. He just says you owe me the oil. So why do you say kad? Because he was saying that was the time. The amount, you owe me a gallon. Didn't mean the gallon container, it just meant the gallon. My time in the admin. So now if that's the case, now we're back with the question, why did admin say that he was admitting? The person never claimed the container. Alama Rava says so we need a new pshat. The Kuli Alma, the word Ella is retracting. He says that there's 10 measurements of oil in your pit. That's by the oil press. So then, then obviously, he's only claiming the oil, not the containers, because he's saying that it's in the pit. If he tells him I have 10 jugs of oil that are filled jugs that are by you, they're mine. Shemen v'kan kanam containers. Then he's claiming both the oil and the jugs. If he just says 10 jugs of oil I have by you, which means you owe me. When he says 10 jugs of oil, it's machlekes admin and the rabbanon. If 10 jugs of oil mean the jugs also. So they're arguing about what the expression means. It's all in the language. That's what this machlekes is. What does that expression mean? Ella taima dein belashon zelashon kankana mayesh belashon zelashon kanam chayev. You know what this means? That if everyone would agree that when he's claiming jugs and oil, and the person admits to the jug, everyone would agree that that was a partial admittance. The whole machlekes here is if he ever claimed the jug. But if he would be claiming the jugs also, that would be a partial admittance. And if that's the case, then everyone would agree that it's chayev, the chayev shvua we're talking about, because it's meida b'miktas. He claimed oil and jugs, and the person admits to the jugs. That's the case. Now it's a problem, because Reb Chia bar Abba is the one that argues on Shmuel before, and he says, if he claims wheat and barley and he admits to one of them, he's exempt because those are two individual claims. He never admitted, it's not a partial admittance. He's agreeing 100% to one, and he's denying 100% to the other. Not that he's admitting to 50%. So no, we have a machlekes that he says that you owe me a jug of oil if that's containing the jug, if he means the jug as well. Okay, but now let's look at step past. Let's say it does mean the jug, and the person says I agree to the jug but not to the oil. But now the question is, do we say that? Well, yeah. Let's say it's clear. So do we say that that's a partial admittance, or do we say that he's denying the oil 100% and he's admitting 100% to the jug, and that's not considered a moed b'miktas? Do we say that he's admitting to 50%, or do we say that he's denying and admitting 100%? Well, Reb Chia bar Abba said that you would be pater, which means it was not an admittance, and now we're saying that you're chayav. Well, Amar Simi Barashi Nasik Mishatan Riman Bikli Pasim. Simi Barashi says no. It's not a good comparison. The oil in the jug is different because over there it becomes one item. It's saying like the pomegranate with the peel. It's not like you owe me wheat and barley, and he admits to one of them. Those could be divided up as two separate claims. But here you can't divide it up. It has to be one, because it comes together. Right. Very good. Maskefla Ravina. Ravina has a question. A pomegranate without the peel doesn't go. Can't be. You can't. It's just going to go bad. You can't separate them. But shemen minta b'leikan kanim. But you can have oil without the jug, like we said before. It could be in the pit. See, why does it have to be one thing? And rather here, what are we dealing with? Really, what we're dealing with is he says, you owe me 10 jugs of oil. The other one says, he denies 100% that he owes oil. Kankanim nami, but even the jugs, chamisha islach, the chamisha leslach. 5 of them, you're right, but the other 5 is denying. Now, he became responsible he became obligated to make an oath just because of the jugs. Adman says, well, the person was claiming jugs, remember? Adman said that meant when he says 10 jugs of oil, he means the jugs as well. So, now once he is making an oath, according to Adman, so we make an oath on the oil as well. It's called Gilgal Shvuah. We roll onto him another oath. We just include it. Yeah, he included into the first oath. But the person never claimed the jugs. So the fact that he's admitting to something that he never claimed, that's not a problem. He's what the person's claiming from, which is oil, he's not admitting to. And what he's admitting to, the person didn't ever ask for. So that's not considered my divicta, so there's no shua. Okay. So we sort of went back to a previous answer and we adjusted it to make it just over the jugs. And with that, we resolved that no one's really saying, we don't have to take a side. That's what this Gemara did, is we avoided taking a side in Tanu Chitim Messiah. The person claims wheat and barley. We got out of that by adjusting the case of the Mishnah. So that could be an independent machlokes. Nothing in our Mishnah won't decide. Yeah, basic ma'aseh l'chasnai. Someone pledges money to his for the dowry of his son-in-law. Pashat le'yas regel. Pashat le'yas regel means he stretches out his foot. Now, what does that mean? Stretches out his foot could mean it means that he's not paying it. But the question is why. Doesn't mean Rashi gives the example. He's saying like, take the dirt off my shoe. Take the mud off my shoe. It's like either he went bankrupt or he's saying, I have the money, I'm just not paying it. I'm not. Went bankrupt. Okay. Well, the son, they're already more than engaged. They may be even betrothed, and now they're waiting to get married. When does the father-in-law doesn't give the money, the son-in-law doesn't want to get married, right? Pledge, let's say, an apartment. Some communities that stand to get an apartment for their son-in-law. So, Teishev ad shetal ben Reisha. The poor girl, is going to sit there until her hair turns white. Quickly get her a white sheitel. So, Adman Aimer, that was the sage's view. Adman Aimer, Yecheli Shetayma, the girl could say, Ilu ani pasakti latzmi, if I was the one that was involved in this agreement, then it would be my fault. But Akshav Shaba Pasak, but my father is the one that made up this agreement. Mani Yechel Lasis, why is that my fault? What can I do? Can I say, either marry me or give me a get? They're already betrothed, obviously. Let me free, I'll go marry someone else. Amram Gamliel Rayanis Dibri Admin. Gamliel says that it seems that Admin is correct, that she has to wait. I'm sorry, not that she has to wait. That her claim is that either give me a divorce or marry me. That was Admin's view. They don't need the apartment down the road. First get married, they don't need anything. Okay. Oh, so you have two options. Yeah. You got cheap. Masnisin Blake Yaitana. Our Mishnah doesn't fit with the following brisa. The Tanya was taught in the brisa. Amar Rab Yosef Rab Yehuda le'nechlik admin of the Chama la Pesach meis lachas nei pashal esregel shecheli shetaymer abba pasuk alaymani yechel lasit. Rab Yosef Rab Yehuda says that in the case that we just read, everyone agrees that it's not the girl's problem. The girl should say, "I didn't get involved in this. This is my father's agreement. Either marry me or divorce me." What is the machlekes? Al shapaska hi al atzma. When she was the one that made the agreement. She doesn't care. He's kidding. There was a story in Maral. Remember that story? He was engaged, and they pledged the dowry, and they lost all the money. And those days, the dowry was to live, So the Maral went back to yeshiva, and they were working to make the money. They weren't able to make the money 10 years from now. He's learning Maral went by Marshall. She went to learn, and then she opened the bakery. And some soldier came by and took some bread. She said, "You can't do that. You have to pay me." So he threw a saddle, like on his horse. He threw a saddle. When it fell on the ground, apparently he had taken the saddle from someone else. These coins came out. She sent a letter to Morale. She sent him a letter first that if you want, you can marry someone else and break the engagement. You don't have to wait for me. He said, "No, I'm going to wait." Okay, so Alman Nechliko, what is the machlekes? One of the story is looking at saddle in the lining. Alman Nechliko al shapaskahi al atzma. She was the one that made up this that she agreed to pay this money. They'll come say, "Well, she made this agreement. She should wait until her hair turns white, to pay it up, and then she'll get married." I thought my father would pay. She can blame it on her father, according to Adman. How was she supposed to get the money anyway? She was saying, "My father's a wealthy man; he'll pay." Well, it turned out he went bankrupt, or maybe he just decided he doesn't agree to this. Amar Rabban Gamliel Reyanias Tibri Adman. Gamliel says, "I agree to Adman." Okay, fine. So our Mishnah doesn't fit with that brisa, because this brisa adjusts the agreement that it was coming from her, not from the father. Tana was taught in a brisa by Medavarim Amurim. When was this said? Now, this brisa is a brisa that's explaining, by Medavarim Amurim, is explaining the first brisa, not the Mishnah. When do we say this brisa? That it's when she made the agreement. That's Big Gedayla. She made the agreement, and then she's a mature girl. Aval Biktana Kaifin. But if she'd be a young girl, then we force him to pay. And you force him to pay if he doesn't have the money. But Kaifin Laman, who do you force to pay? Ilay Mala'av. Are we forcing the father? Force the father to agree to the child's arrangement? Should be the opposite. We would maybe force the father to pay if it was the adult girl's arrangement. Rabba says no. What it means is that you force the husband to divorce her. If she made that agreement, then we have if he doesn't want to marry her, then we force him to one way or the other. Right, can't let her wait. What would that mean? According to the brisa, if she is an adult, then Adman would say the same thing. What's coming out? What's happening here is that if she's a child, then the sages agree to Admai. That's what it seems. Rab Yitzchak ben Elazar Shmei Dechizkiya Kol Makom Shem Rab Gamliel Reyenes Dibri Admai Halacha K'maaseh. Rab Yitzchak ben Elazar says Nimah Chizkiya. If Rabbi Gamliel says that he agrees with Admai, that's the halacha. Amalei Rav or Rab Nachman Afilu beBraisa. What about in the Braisa? We have a Braisa here where Rabbi Gamliel says he agrees with Admai. Amalei, so he responds, Mikam Rinan b'Mishnah. Did we say that it's only in a Mishnah? B'chol Makim Shem Rab Gamliel come in. We said anywhere. The halacha is going to be like Rabbi Gamliel. Am Rab Zera, Am Rabba Bar Yirmiyah, Beis Dvarim Shamar Chanan, halacha ki yetzibay. Rab Zera says the name of Rabba Bar Yirmiyah that the two things that Chanan said, what happened was, Chanan started off with two statements. And in the first statement, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai said he agrees with Chanan. Then we had two statements or three statements from Admai. The first two statements, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai agrees with Chanan. Yaf Amar Chanan. Over here we had Admai Omer 7 things, and one of them was how the girls get the money, right? Okay. The next one was with the oil and this, and the third one was the dowry agreement. Those are the three. And Rabbi Gamliel on all three says that he agrees with Admai. So now what happens is the two things that Chanan says, halacha is kiyetzibay. The halacha is like similar to him. What does kiyetzibay mean? We have to see in a moment. But it probably means Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai that agreed with him. Shiva Devarim Shamar Admai Ein halacha kiyetzibay. But the 7 things that Admai said, the halacha is not like him. Mike Amar, what does this mean, kiyetzibay? Not like similar to him. How does he translate it over there? Along with him. Do we mean Shnei Devarim Shamar Halacha K'maaseh v'kiyetzibay? Do we mean halacha like him and the one that says like him? That's referring to Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. V'shiva Devarim Shamar Admai Ein halacha k'maaseh. And the 7 things that were said by like Admai is the halacha not like him, but like kiyetzibay, and not like Rabbi Gamliel that agreed with him. What are you talking about? The halacha is like Admai. We have a statement from Chizkiya. It's like Rabbi Gamliel. Rather, it means the following: Shnei Devarim Shamar Halacha K'maaseh v'kiyetzibay, Shiva Devarim Shamar Admai Ein halacha kiyetzibay. The two things that Chanan said, the halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, like him, and like Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. The 7 things that Admai said, the halacha is not like him, not like Rabbi Gamliel. Hakamaisai, but like Admai himself, halacha. Then it would be the halacha. The kulo in all of them. Amar in Lai Amar Lai. It's only the halacha is only like Admai if Rabbi Gamliel agreed with him. Halacha is not like Admai with everything. Halachi kamar. This is what it means. Shnei Devarim Shamar Chanan halacha k'maaseh kiyetzibay. What it means is like this: the 2 things that Chanan said, the halacha is like him and like Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai that agreed with him. Shiva Devarim Shamar Admai, the 7 things that Admai said. Yesh mem shalacha k'maaseh kiyetzibay. Some of them are the halachas like him and Rabbi Gamliel that agrees with him. Yesh mem she'ein halacha k'maaseh, supposed to say v'kiyetzibay, and some of them the halacha is not like him. Depends. It's only going to be the halacha like him if Rabbi Gamliel agreed with him. And that was only 3 out of the 7. Okay, next Mishnah. Ha'irer al-Asada. It's really interesting stuff over here. Lawyer stuff. Okay, the setup over here goes like this. Reuven comes over to Shimon. He says, the field that you have is really my field. Shimon says, I bought it from Levi. He says, yeah, I know, but Levi stole it from me. So, fine. Reuven tells Shimon, that's my field. The only problem is v'hu chasam ala ba'ed. Shimon takes out the document that he bought the field from Levi. And one of the witnesses on the document is Reuven himself. So he is admitting to the sale of a field that he claims was really his from Levi to Shimon.
So he signed it?
He signed. It was stolen from him. And he's signing it as a sale from one person to another. And now he's coming and saying, but that's mine. So Shimon says, what are you talking about? You signed the document. How can you say that it's yours? Like, look, right now. Reuven claims he owns it now. Levi claimed that he owned it before because he sold it. And Reuven's saying, Levi stole it from me. And Reuven's the one that signed the document from Levi to Shimon. So take a look at this. Adman says, Hasheni noyachli, Arishan Kashimena. You know why I signed the document? I couldn't stand in court against Levi. He had these fancy lawyers. And I saw that you were going to buy it. And so I wanted you to buy it because I'm going to take to court. It was in my best interest for you to get it, and then I'll take it away from you. So that's Adman's claim, and that's Adman's opinion about this. The Chacham say he's lost his rights to the field. Asa simin la'acher. Let's say the document was a little different. Reuven signed the document, but on the document, it wasn't a document of the sale from Levi to Shimon. Shimon was selling a field, and on the field, he put the borders. It wasn't the field that was stolen. It was a field next to the field that was stolen. And as a border to the field that he was selling, he wrote, it's right next to my other field, describing the field that Reuven claims that's his. And Reuven signs that document that has in it his field as a border to Shimon's field, and it says that it's Shimon's other field. So here, he loses his rights because he signed a document that attests to that the field isn't his. Amar Abaya, this only works if he signs as a witness. Aval Dayan, but if he's a Dayan and he signs on that document, that's Laibidus, he doesn't lose his rights. Why? When it comes to a witness signing a document, they have to read the document. When it comes to a court, what it really mean over here, for us to understand this would mean a notary. To notarize the document, a notary doesn't have to read the document. They just have to see you signed it. And they see that you signed it, they put their stamp. They sign it in front of me and they put the stamp. What does it say in there? I don't know what it says. Whatever it says, not my business. I just know that you really signed it. So when they're verifying documents, the fact that a document is verified by this judge does not mean that the judge admits to what's in the document. He's just verifying that those are the signatures. Okay. If he made a sign referencing his field, that it belongs to someone else, and he signed that document, he loses the rights. Who was he selling that field to? Shimon was selling that field to someone else. Let's say he was selling it to Reuven himself. And he references in that the field that was Reuven is now claiming is his as well. But in that document it said that it was Shimon's. The Amar either lay abdi lay hachi lay have him as masbin la nale. I was trying to buy the field. And if I would have made a big deal about it, then he would have sold it to me. What could the person claim? So why, when you sign the document, did you not make a Mesiras Meidah? Is when someone, before he goes into any sort of agreement, he tells witnesses or he writes a document that says the agreement that I'm about to do is not valid. I'm being forced into it, or I'm doing it against my will, or something. And I'm doing this just for a different purpose. Now, usually, whenever this could invalidate every agreement, because he says, "Well, I wrote a document before that, and what I'm about to do is nothing." It's like I crossed the fingers or something. I was crossing my fingers, and it doesn't work. So usually, when they do a get or something, they'll say, testify in front of witnesses that if you made any statements before you came in here, that you're invalidating them. So they have to invalidate it before. But let's say here we're talking about, so why didn't you do a Mesiras Meidah? Why didn't you invalidate what you're about to do? Well, he says, Chavra Chavra Islay, the Chavra Islay. If I would have done a Mesiras Meidah, I would have said in front of witnesses, they would have ended up telling Shimon, and then Shimon would have sold me the field, and I was trying to get the field. So therefore, I didn't want to make a big deal about it when I was signing that document. Yeah. Ahuda Asa Simanacha. This case actually happened. And he signed on a document that referenced his field as belonging to someone else. And now Now he comes and he claims that that field that was referenced in there as a border is really mine.
So he bought it knowing that it was
No.
someone else.
Ruvain signed on a document that referenced his own field as belonging to Shimon. And now he's coming to claim that the field is mine. Shimon's saying that, how can you say it's yours? You referenced it in this document that you yourself signed, that it belongs to me. So, I'm sorry. Reference, he says that the borders, one of the borders is Shimon's field. And it didn't say Ruvain's field, but Shimon's field. B'shachiv, Ruvain died. Now, Ruvain has a trustee that's taking care of his property. It's orphans, whatever. Well, Asa Apatrapa l'kamei Abaya. The Apatrapa, the trustee, comes to Abaya. Abaya says, "What do you want?" He's not getting the field. He signed a document that referenced it as belonging to someone else. Amar, Apatrapa says, yeah, I didn't reference the whole field. The little strip of land along the border of that field belongs to Shimon, but not the whole field. The whole field is really mine. Now, obviously, Reuben has a proof that field is his. I don't know what his proof is, a document, whatever, but he proves that it wasn't even Levi's to sell to Shimon or whatever. He has a proof. So, Amalei, Abaya says, Shaper Kamret. You're right. It's a good claim. He's able to do that. He's able to get out of giving the whole field by just giving a part of the field along the border. Zil havlim yes telemechad. Go give him at least that part. And you take the rest. Hava Allah richva de dikla. There was on it a row of palm trees. Amalei, the Petrapa says to Abaya, if the father was here, no, he's a trustee. It says if the owner was here, still alive, he would say, yeah, I know, it was his, but since then I bought it back. Well, now he's claiming that they're his. He just said that they belong to Shimon. And now he's saying that Reuven bought them back from Shimon. Amalei Shapikam, and Abaya says you have a good claim because Damar Rabbi Yechanan Matan Ram Chazat Velkach Menu Neman. So what just happened here is called Peshas or Peshet. Really, the whole field belonged to Reuven. how did Shimon end up with one row? He admitted that one row was his. But the one that admitted that the one row was his also admits that also says that he bought it back. So it should come back. Only question is that, but he had to say that it was his, because or else he wouldn't have. It's a little trick over here. It's not totally dependent on his admitting. You have no other source of information for this except for me. And I'm the one that's telling you that I bought it back. But it's not 100% true, because there is another source of information. He wrote a document that says, Amar Abaya says, if someone wants to get a trustee like this. The other he knows how to adjust things in the best interest of the orphans. This is a good trustee. Okay. Misha halach l'medina sayam. Someone that went overseas v'avda derech sadeu comes back and he finds out that he had a field. It was 10 acres. What was it? 1,900 acres. He has this field that he had a path that could get to the field. Problem is, when he comes back, the people that owned the fields around him have taken away his path, and he can't get to the field. So Adman says, well, you take the smallest path to the field. We're not going to give you a long path to ruin someone else's property, but the shortest path to your field you're going to go. The Chum say he has to purchase a path for 100 mana, or let him fly in from the sky. Helicopter, right? Jetpack. Let's see. Let's take a look. It's complex. My time of the Rabbanon. What's the reason for the Rabbanon? Shaper Kamar Adman. Adman was the first opinion here. Adman says that he gets the shortest path. Shouldn't he get a path? What's going on here, and the reason why it's getting so complicated, is because there were 4 different owners to each side. Each one says, why should I give it? Yeah, go to him. Each one gets out of this obligation by saying, go to the other guy, go to the other guy. Everyone's saying, go to the other guy. So he keeps going around. No one is going to give it to him. Yeah, we had that. Well, I think we had it, but there is a concept. We are what's there to come up from Yeshua ben Nun? We'll get there in Baba Kama. If there's 4 different owners, my time of the Adman, then why does Adman say that he gets the shortest path? I mean, why does that guy lose out? There's 4 different people. Amar Rava says, if the 4 owners now all came from 4, they all bought it, these different properties, from 4 owners previously, or if they all came from one person, everyone can just push into the other person. The Machlekes Admon and the Chachamim is when there's one owner to all 4 surrounding fields, but he bought it from 4 different people. So he really was getting the monopoly. He went to this one, he bought it. He went to this one, he went to this. He went to all 4 owners and he bought it up. Now there's one owner. So Adman Savar, the guy saying, he comes to me, he says, give me he says, from which field do you want? He says, this one. He says, no, go to the other. go to the, but it's really the same guy. He goes, he knocks on the door, the same guy opens the door. So Adman says, look, you're the same guy. You own all the fields. You have to give me one path in my field, whichever it is, give me the smallest path. Rabbanan Sabri, Rabbanan say that the owner can say like this, Ishaskis, if you don't bother me about this, it's a shaskis, so you quiet. In other words, you purchase it, or whatever. Eli, if you're going to bother me, Madrina Starla Marayo, I'll return the properties to the original owner, and then you'll never get it. Because I'll return the property to the original owners, for the 4 people. And you'll never get a path from 4 different people. They'll each send you to. So the only way you can get it is from me. So purchase it. Yehuda there was a person that said when he was passing away, he said, Dikla Labras, I want my daughter to get a palm tree. That's the end of the story. No, because when he goes to, everyone agreed that when there's 4 different owners, each one is going to say, why are you taking a path from my field? Take it from another field. No, but the shortest was only not to bother the one owner the most. But if it's 4 different people, then I don't care how short it is. Don't come to me, go to my neighbor. Just because I have a narrow property doesn't mean that I have to lose out. So that originally there was a path, but now it's lost. Now it's other people took it over. Right. Yeah, I guess.
Well, he was aware of his neighbors.
Yeah. Right. This is the type of property that someone gets. There's a bad inheritance condition. So I'll say, okay, we'll take the apartment in Manhattan, and you get a property in Wyoming, and you can't even get to it because you can't get through. There's no path to get to. So okay, that's yours. Yeah. What do I do with it? I don't know. It's yours. Okay. Right. So here in the next case we have, he says, Dikla Labras. I want 1 palm tree to go to my daughter. Azal Yasmi Poligam. They say, okay, the orphans divided up the inheritance. They didn't give her the palm tree. So Rabbi Yosef says, oh, that's exactly our Mishnah. Why? Each one of the brothers says, why are you taking a palm tree from me? Take it from the brother. The other one says, why are you taking it from me? Take it from the brother. So they can push her around like this, and she never gets a palm tree. How can you compare? Over there, each one owned the field. Over here, the palm tree is theirs. In other words, originally, over here it's different. Over here, everyone has the obligation to give the palm tree. It's not everyone doesn't have the obligation. Everyone does have the obligation. What do you do? First, give her the palm tree. And then divide it up. That way no one loses out. Divide up the properties after the palm tree was given to him. There was a person, when he passed away, he said, and wants his daughter to get a palm tree. Shachiv passed away, V'shavak trei palgi de dikla. He has 2 halves of palm trees. This is what happened was he had partnerships with 2 people in palm trees. So he owned 1 palm tree with this guy, he owned 1 palm tree with that guy. Anyway, so he also had other palm trees, but this is the one they want to give to her. Yosef Ravashi v'kakashali. Rashi sitting asks a question. Do people call 2 half of palm trees a palm tree or not? Amalei Rav Mordechai Ravashi Yachi Amaravi Mi Me'agroni Mishmei Rav Karu Inshil Trei Palgi Dikli. People do call two halves of palm trees a palm tree. It's like the car. They get divorced, they split the car. So they go to the what's it called? Parts, the car parts. They take out to the junkyard and give half the car. Okay. This is today's daf, so let's just start it on. I feel like we're up to date, even though we're still a page behind.
Yeah.
Someone takes out a document, a promissory note, a debt, right, and his friend. And the other guy, the borrower, pulls out a document that says that the lender just sold him a field. Now, when you sell a field, that means he had to receive money. When he received that money, he could have said, okay, thank you for paying me back the loan. Now pay me for the field. But he didn't do that. So he actually made a sale here. And meanwhile, he had a previous note that he owes him money. So the person, the borrower says, the promissory note is a forgery. And I'll prove it to you. Because if it wasn't a forgery when you sold me the field, you would have taken the money as a collection. Obviously, the promissory note is a forgery. I even proved the document of sale proves it. The Chum say no, he was a smart guy. He sold him the property because when he came to collections, the guy says, I don't know, I don't have anything. He says, but what about the car? He says, oh, it's in my wife's name. Yeah, what about this? It's all of it. So, okay, buy the property from me. So he buys the property. He says, okay, now you have a property. Now I can collect. My time, the Rabbanon. What's the reason of the Rabbanon? Shaper Kamar Admain. Admain has a claim. That why didn't the person take the money right away when he as a collection when he was buying the field? Gemara says like this: depends on how the transactions take place. If transactions take place when you sell a field, that okay, hand over the money and we'll write up the document. Then when he hands over the money, he could have said, okay, thank you very much. That was the payment for the loan. Now hand me money for the field. And then, but if that's not how it works, we're talking about in this place, first they write up the document and then they hands over the money. So he already has the document by the time it's paying. It's too late. Admin says, we had this before, that he should have said outside of court that what I'm about to do is not because I'm denying the debt. What I'm about to do is only because I want to use it as a mashkin. I want to use it to collect. He should have told that to two witnesses. If he would have told that to two witnesses, then the borrower would have found out what he's about to do, and he never would have bought the field. He wouldn't be able to get it. So he had a good reason why not to tell anyone. And that's why he's coming now and saying, now I want to use it as a collection. Okay, let's leave it over here. Let's see where can we get to? If tomorrow, today's Monday, right? Tomorrow. It's possible Tuesday. It's possible we could do Wednesday. Let's say a lot of words, but Tuesday. I think what we'll do is maybe we'll sit down a little bit afterwards and we'll finish it off after. But if we should push for Wednesday, we'll sit down after Shacharis, and we'll finish the last piece if we can't finish it. All right, unless you want to start early. Start early tomorrow. Okay, let's leave it like this. Mitzvah Shem, we'll aim for Wednesday for the Siyam. All right. Have a good day.